Oh boy, the Guardians of the Galaxy movie trailer. I love that book when it was written by Abbott and Lanning. So, okay. They're going off Brian Bendis' reimagined into the Guardians, and it doesn't have my favorite characters like Cosmo the dog and Mantis in it, but how bad can it be? Oh my god, they completely missed the point! Guardians of the Galaxy is supposed to be an action-adventure, not some dumb comedy. It's about the only group of heroes who cares about protecting all of space, not just their own corner of it. This is crap! This is... Oh. Hey, and dead again. Cool. Well, no plot hole this time, thank God. But I'm not going to do a 3-episode arc just so I can come back to life. I wonder how Phaelus always does it.
It's a trade secret.
Cloning?
No! Well, maybe. No!
Sold your soul to the devil.
Nope.
Sold your soul to Bennett the Sage.
What, the doctor from Kick-Assia? I got free healthcare, buddy. I don't need that shit. Look, I gotta go. I will tell you this, though. The easiest way to come back to life is to have a reason to live.
Thanks, Phaelus. Let's see, reason to live. Well, I am the Last Angry Geek. Damn, this is going to be harder than I thought. Oh, man. And I was looking forward to reviewing Lazarus on today's show. What? Damn, that's all it took? It almost seems like this was an elaborate setup that just ran out of steam and the writer needed an easy out. Enjoy the show.
Have a reason to live. What a sucker. I have no idea why that coming back to life shit ever worked.
Welcome back to Comic Book Issues. I'm your host, the Last Angry Geek. Sometimes there are titles that you love and you desperately want more of, but it ain't gonna happen. But sometimes life provides you with a loophole. The creative team behind said book reunites on a brand new title. Obviously it isn't the same, but it can be just as awesome as the previous book. Some of you might remember a flashback episode I did reviewing Gotham Central. It offered us a look at the Gotham City Police Force, what it's like to be an ordinary law officer in a world of vigilantes, supercriminals, and other shenanigans. Well, recently, Image Comics put out a brand new book, Lazarus, and it's written and drawn by 2/3 of the creative team behind Gotham Central, writer Greg Rucka and penciler Michael Lark. The other creator, co-writer Ed Brubaker, also has a new book out at Image with his Captain America penciler Steve Epting called Velvet. It's really good. Imagine if James Bond wasn't the world's greatest spy, Miss Moneypenny was. But we're here to talk about Lazarus. Now, given how great of a character Renee Montoya was throughout Greg Rucka's run on Gotham Central, I was excited to learn the protagonist of this series was a woman. And like Gotham Central, it features a large supporting cast, but really that's where the similarities end. The world of Lazarus is a dystopian future set somewhere between the Hunger Games and the Borgias. This is Lazarus, issues 1 through 4. In the opening issue, Forever Carlyle, or Eve, is murdered. Fortunately, she gets better. She's the Lazarus of the Carlyle family. She follows the bandits who killed her into a larder and brutally dispatches them. Eve tells this to James, the family doctor. She feels guilty over killing the men, they were merely starving. James reminds her that the documented citizens are cared for by her family. These were rebels who killed her. She asks if it's normal to feel guilt. He tells her no, it isn't, but promises not to betray her confidence, which he does in a call to her brother Jonah. He can keep drugging Eve, but it's useless unless she maintains emotional bonds with her family. In this near future, the world is controlled by several powerful families. Those who serve them are privileged and called serfs. Everyone else is just called waste. When Forever arrives at one of the family compounds, Jonah sees her and gives her a big hug, surprising her somewhat. A Carlyle seed vault was assaulted by the Murray family. Since security at the site failed and there appears to be no technical glitch, Jonah is sure that they were sabotaged, and the only one who could do that is senior staff. While Eve isn't so sure, Jonah insists that she deal with them. She assembles the staff and reminds them that betrayal does mean death, but if no one confesses, then they will all be executed. An older man, Mr. Rosales, admits to the betrayal. Privately, she admits that she knows he's lying and doesn't understand why he's throwing his life away. He tells her that the Carlyles don't really understand the concept of family. She promises to tell his daughter that he loved her. She seems a bit stunned when Rosales says his daughter already knows that. I'm sorry. It just reminds me of the time my father was shot in the back of the head once, execution style. Of course, his last words were, "I'll see you in hell, son." Stranger. Not that I was there to hear his last words, of course. I guessed. At the family compound in Puget Sound, Eve is being given a series of pills and injections by her sister Beth before being told to report to their father. Jonah, meanwhile, is having a fight with his brother Stephen. When they start arguing, Stephen threatens to tell their father what Jonah is up to with their sister, Johanna. Malcolm Carlyle, the head of the family, arrives with Beth and tells Jonah if Johanna doesn't show up the next time he calls a family meeting, she'll be disinherited. They go over the battle at the Seed Vault, with Forever pointing out she cannot find any evidence of the assumed traitor's communications with the Moray family. The Carlyles have been at war with the Morays for 5 years, and since then the Morays have lost control of their waste and suffered famine. Jonah pushes for an all-out war with the Morays, after which Mr. Carlyle dismisses all but Forever. He asks her if she believed that Rosales was really the traitor. She tells him no, but stammers when pressed for a reason for his execution. Malcolm accuses her of bloodlust until she finally states it was to appease Jonah lest he kill the rest of the staff. Carlyle knows his children, save Eve, are all useless and gives her a new task. Jonah is furious that Eve has their father's confidence. She's not even his real daughter, which sets Beth off. She yells at him never to say that when it's possible Forever might hear. Jonah simply says they'd kill her, and then Beth and James, the doctor and her husband, would make them a new Lazarus. Beth beats Jonah down before Stephen breaks it up. Eve enters and dismisses the other kids. Father wants her to take Jonah back to Los Angeles. L.A., under Jonah's control, has fallen apart after the last earthquake. Jonah refuses to repair and restore the lands and homes of the waste. Reunited with Sister Johanna, both are suspicious that Forever won't tell Jonah what she's up to. Since she can't resist a family order, that must mean that their father ordered her not to tell them. Among the waste, Eve passes a note to a child, which is then intercepted by Jonah's man Mason. I wonder what other ways that could have gone. Forever then drives into Mexico before being stopped and captured by the Moray family. The sergeant in charge tries to take her prisoner, but the Moray family Lazarus, Joaquim, says she is a guest. The sergeant overrules him on his uncle's orders and takes her gun, but overreaches himself when he asks for her sword, and she chops off his hand. And the proper joke is... And the answer is D, to get to the other side. What? Joaquim then beheads the sergeant for defying him, and offers Forever some lemonade. Jonah demands that James tell him where Eve is, but he won't, and Jonah knows Father is working against them. Joaquim and Eve share a gentle understanding. The last time they met was 5 years ago during the peace talks, where they were ordered to kill each other first if the negotiations broke down. Each is the only other Lazarus the other has met, and as such they share an outsider's bond. There's a clear attraction, but it's interrupted by the arrival of Joaquim's uncle. Jonah tells Joanna that he's convinced their father is onto their schemes. Forever has been sent to parley with the Morays, not lead an attack. Johanna realizes they can still have war. Forever is off the grid. If they kill her before she reports back to their father, then the peace will never be officially registered. Edgar Moray promises to listen to Eve, but his family will not bow to hers. She repeats her father's offer to normalize grain and trade with the Morays. This will stall upcoming rebellion and unrest, so long as the Morays provide them with 2 shipments of their trademark aircraft fighters and cease all communication and plotting with Jonah. Edgar agrees to this, and Forever takes her leave to be escorted out of their territory by Joaquim. The pair stops at the border to share a farewell drink and watch the sunset. Then, a missile blows them up. Issue 4 opens with James and Beth confused as to why Eve has stopped moving when all their alarms go off. They register multiple catastrophic injuries and conclude she's been attacked. Jonah's team confirms the destruction of Joaquim's vehicle, but Moray jamming stops him from getting a clear picture. He orders his mercs in to confirm her death. Eve is shocked to see that she's being attacked by her own family's troops. Mason, Jonah's right-hand man, reports to Johanna, and surprisingly, she orders him to punch her. As Forever pulls one of her captors into the way of a blow meant to behead her, Mason roughs up Johanna, who demands that he make it look real. A damaged Joachim, now showing off full-fledged cybernetics, arms her, and together, with only swords, they take on the assassination squad. Beth is amazed at how well Forever's body is responding to combat. James is appalled. This is her sister, to which Beth replies, "She only thinks she's my sister." Jonah's drone shows him that things have failed. He tries to go to his sister, but is stopped by Mason, who makes it clear Jonah is now the fall guy for their botched plan. The mood, now slightly less romantic. The Lazaruses... Lazari? What is the plural for resurrected immortal warriors? There's a Highlander joke in there somewhere, but then Highlander was never funny. Unless you count Sean Connery playing an Egyptian masquerading as a Spaniard but still speaking with a Scottish accent. Hilarious. Eve and Joaquin bid each other farewell, and Forever flies back to the family compound in L.A. She demands Mason tell her where Jonah is. He claims Jonah fled, but not before attacking Johanna. A battered Johanna clings to Forever. She tried to stop him, but her brother is a traitor. Eve promises to protect her seemingly hysterical sister. Communicating with their father, Forever tells him Joanna and Mason are on their way to the family compound. Malcolm congratulates Forever on a job well done. The family will need her in coming months. Later, Forever Carlisle receives an email from an anonymous source. That reminds me of the time I found out my father wasn't my father, so I shot him in the back of the head once, execution style. Damn it! Just kidding. Well, I found this to be an intriguing read. The art and writing really created a believable world with a sympathetic character. Let's take a closer look at the first 4 issues of Lazarus. Greg Rucka has created a dark masterpiece set in a nihilistic future. This is an ongoing series, so you're not necessarily going to get all the answers or even all the questions in the first 4 issues. What we do get is a feeling for the world this is set in. There are no more governments or even corporations. The corporations are now synonymous with the families that own them. The Carlyles control most of what used to be the United States and provide what little work there is, as well as owning all of the land that the rest of the people live on. However, it's still a society that values money and power above all else, so the Carlyles are really the only ones who matter, and their servants, the elevated serfs, are the middle class above the waste, who are struggling to survive in the family's world. Like any good political drama, those in power must protect their power from those without and within. Malcolm Carlisle has to protect his power from his children and his land and money from the Murrays to the south. This makes for strange alliances and plenty of intrigue. The Lazaruses are the supreme military commander of each family, seeing to the security of their family, but ultimately answerable to anyone with the right last name. It's in this position we meet Forever. We see that her family clearly views her only as a tool, and they regularly lie to her in order to mold her into the weapon they need her to be. These issues imply that she might actually be Beth and James's daughter repurposed as Malcolm's. Instantly, this provokes our sympathies. We can all identify with wanting to be loved and feeling betrayed at being used and lied to. We want Forever to break free from her chains and find her own place in the world. The rest of the family isn't as well explored as I would like. We spend most of our time with Jonah, who comes off as a stereotypical hothead, desperate for power that he would only misuse. Johanna is a better character, smart enough to know who does and doesn't need to die, and canny enough to set up her own brother as a fall guy should their plans fail. The rest of the family are ciphers, but we'll get to know them better as the series progresses, just as we'll get to know the world better. The next arc of the book actually follows several of the waste families. In an attempt to survive natural disasters, they try to become elevated to serfs, knowing that becoming servants for the Carlyles is the only way to give their children a better life. As for Forever, while the aftermath of the cliffhanger isn't dealt with immediately, we do find it weighing on her. We'll begin to look into her past and see what it's like to be a child who's part science project and part society elite. The art by Michael Lark suits this book perfectly. It's never over-stylized or fantastic, which drives home a sense of reality to the futuristic epic. He also handles the action sequences, vehicles, and scenery with a master's touch. Also, special praise should be paid to Santi Arcas, the book's colorist. He's very clever at this, providing certain colors for different locations. He paints the medical compound in green, the family estates in browns. He knows how to make things stand out, such as Eve's blood-soaked body in the first issue, and where to play things more subtly. Just take in how beautiful the sunset is at the end of issue 3. This book would lose a lot of its mood and tone if it didn't have this man doing the colors. You know, I've enjoyed each issue of this series. Every time a new one comes out, it immediately jumps to the top of my to-read list. The first 4 issues are now available as a trade paperback for only $10 retail. Check it out! I give Lazarus, issues 1 through 4, 5 out of 5 stars. Read this book. Until next time, oh hey, the Captain America 2 trailer's online. Ah! I was the Last Angry Geek, and this used to be Comic Book Issues.